Hello everybody, and welcome back to Space Engine, the wonderful world thereof. First, I'd like to apologize for my upload schedule being kind of sporadic recently. The last few months, or actually the last month, I've been very busy, because not having a real job, but having bills to pay, means you have to work very, very hard to pay off said bills. Yeah, anyways, I'm out here on the edges of the solar system, hanging out with my good friend Neptune, for a very good reason. As I can almost guarantee, in fact I can guarantee some of you have know about, there's been a lot of articles going around about how they've quote-unquote discovered Planet X, or Planet 9 as they're calling it, because it isn't the 10th planet, and Planet X has a bit of conspiracy shit to it. And it's all well and good. Incidentally, they haven't discovered the planet. That's the biggest thing here. They mathematically predicted that there's one possibly there, but they haven't actually found it. Actually, I wonder if I can find Sedna. Oh my god, look at that. Mechamake. Ooh, let's go there. I was reading about this. But yeah, so, there's this, it's been kind of annoying, I suppose. Maybe not really. But the people are like, yeah, they found a new planet, blah, blah, and it's like, no, they haven't found it. They've predicted that it's possibly there as an explanation for, well, actually, one of these objects. Like, the whole concept for it, kind of came about a few years ago when, they first discovered, actually, Sedna, and I think it was Sedna or Eris. One of these planets. Actually, I wonder where can I do the, no, fuck off. Shit. Wait, I have an idea. Let's go to Sol. Boop. That's just the stellar map, isn't it? But this will actually help me. Yes, there we go. What they discovered was with these objects, these trans-Neptunian objects, is their behavior is very much the way it's very much unusual, I should say. One of the biggest things being these orbits are highly eccentric. As you can see, like, they're not a part of the ecliptic, which is the central plane where the planets hang out. They're all very highly eccentric and highly irregular. Now, these types of orbits, like there's Eris, these types of orbits are usually produced by a close encounter with a large planet, and its gravity kicks it off into these weird, odd orbits. However, they discovered that when they started discovering these objects, a lot of them were nowhere near Neptune's orbit. Like, they were not getting close enough to Neptune's orbit to explain their positions. And going off on that, just general stellar drift, or just like, normal drift of these planets and objects, their orbits should actually be very very random, but they're actually found to be very regular, in that they all have the very, very similar perihelions. So there's this big long concept where, like, in 2014 or whatever, so they made a comment where there could have been there could be two planets in the outer solar system that are producing these motions in these bodies that are like, they're kind of shepherding them. That's one thing planets and objects actually do, is their gravitational effects will actually interact and shepherd one another. A lot of Saturn's moons are kept in their orbits by larger moons that actually shepherd, or their gravity keeps them in place. It's like basically like a shepherd keeping their sheep in place. And so one of the people who discovered Eris actually went about trying to see if they could disprove this, which is good, I suppose. And in doing so, they found that no, these orbits are very, 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 very unlikely just through natural means. But they came up mathematically that a planet about 10 Earth masses may hang out in the outer solar system of, it's also a very irregular orbit, but it may hang out in the outer solar system, and it's what's producing these Kuiper Belt objects that are acting very, very unusual to what they should be. So that was basically all of that. And of course, people take that to think, oh, they've discovered a planet, when they actually haven't discovered it. They just suspect it may be there as an explanation for these behaviors. So, no, I want to pause that. They basically said it's like they have a fair idea of where it possibly is in the sky. Like they have an idea of where its orbit might be mathematically, and they're gonna try to look for it using telescopes because they've calculated that although it's very far away and very cold, it should still be able to be detectable with Earth telescopes, like our current telescopes. Even backyard astronomers with decent quality telescopes should be able to detect it faintly. So they're going to be trying their best to find it, but they're also letting other people know where to look. They want someone to find it because if it is there, it would be really really cool to find this new planet, and even possibly other ones. Like there could be the one that they're looking for, and there might actually be a 10th one out there. Like there might be one, two, maybe even three or four. As we peer out farther and farther into the outer solar system, we're going to find out this more and more. Because again, we've mathematically found, or mathematically theorized this object using, using like the orbits of the trans-Neptunian objects and the Kuiper Belt objects, such as Sedna and Eris and whatnot. So if we find more in even extreme orbits, we may even find indications for other planets. Now, mathematically finding planets isn't all that, like it isn't actually that different. Neptune was actually discovered mathematically. I forget his name. An astronomer calculated that there must be an object outside the orbit of Uranus that was perturbing Uranus and whatnot because of its orbit. So he mathematically calculated how big it is and where we would find it, and then they basically told an astronomer to look in this location, and within a few hours they actually found it. They were like, "Oh shit, there is a planet there," and lo and behold, Neptune was discovered, smack dab where it was supposed to be. So mathematics does actually work. As annoying as it was in high school, it does in fact work. So, actually, I wonder if they've updated the Pluto's map or Pluto's body. Probably not, actually, because I haven't updated the game in a while. But yeah, so I would actually love for there to be another object out there, and this brings the question what to call it. I've heard a lot of funny, interesting ideas for it. No, they haven't. It's the right color, but the mapping is very different. Ugh, my game's a little laggy today. I don't know what the deal that is. Ugh, my ear's itchy. But yeah, so that's basically what that is. It's just that they haven't discovered one yet. They've just mathematically calculated that there might be one there. So it's theorized at this point. But who knows? They may find another explanation for it. They may find another planet somewhere, or they may even actually find the one they're looking for. And if they do, that'd be really cool. And it'll probably be an ice giant like Neptune or Uranus. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, it's funny. They've been calling it Planet 9 because the concept of the name Planet X, they said it's been used too much in science fiction and conspiracy theories that they just don't want to associate with that. And I was reading somewhere somebody made the comment they should name it Nibiru just to freak out all the conspiracy theorists that believe in the Nibiru catastrophe that never actually happened and actually has no base in mythology. For those of you who don't know, Nibiru was this big thing. It got really popular in 2012. It was like, this ancient Assyrian legend says this giant planet slash brown dwarf slash red dwarf slash black hole slash spaceship called Nibiru will fly into our solar system, get close to Earth, destroying Earth, and it also has variants saying, like, there are giant alien giants that live on Nibiru that seeded Earth, or that are here to conquer Earth, or control the Earth. The conspiracies, they have a genealogy all of their own. They have one idea, and it branches off into other ideas, and they become separate conspiracies, and it gets weirder and weirder and weirder. But if you actually do some basic research, you discover that the name Nibiru was an ancient Assyrian name, or Sumerian, one of those, but it didn't have anything to do with a little atmosphere. It didn't have anything to do with a giant planet coming to kill us all. It actually had a number of meanings, but one of the main meanings is it just meant up, straight up. Like it basically meant zenith, the point in the sky straight up. And in a few writings, ancient writings, Nibiru was used to describe the planet Venus and the planet Jupiter. but there's no like writings talking about Nibiru being this planet full of giants coming to kill us all. It was just a term, an astronomical term used to describe a point in the sky straight up, or also in a few cases used as the name of Venus and Jupiter. I think Jupiter more often, because Jupiter was very prominent in the sky, so, yeah. So when people say that Nibiru is coming to kill you, to say, no, Nibiru is still in its orbit with its, major moons outside of the asteroid belt doing what it does best. And they get all confused, and I'm like, I'm talking about Jupiter. But yeah, I really like the idea of naming it Nibiru, just to screw with them, but looking at planet naming conventions, they'll probably give it the name of a Greek, or of a god, basically, as being the convention with the planets. Because Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, which were all the ancient planets, were named after well, they all had different names, but the names that stuck were named after the Roman gods. And then later on, Uranus and Neptune were discovered, and they followed the same pantheonic line. Actually, I think it was Uranus, when it was first discovered by William Herschel. He named it, what was it? It was like Georgium Plantera, or something like that. No, wait, no. It was Georgium Sidnus, or something. The name for planet. It was basically, it was named George's planet, after King George. What was it? Georgium Plantera, something like that? Either way, it was basically named after George, so they call it George's planet, or George. But they decided to change it to Neptune, or to Uranus, to go along with the naming convention. So, who knows what they'll call it. They use a lot of Greek and Roman names to name the various planets. I would love to see some other ones. I would love to see a good Norse or Egyptian, like ancient Egyptian planet out there. That'd be badass. Actually, I think some of the asteroids are named after the Egyptian pantheon. In fact, I know there are. But yeah, I would love to see that. I don't know. But then again, it's not up to me. It's up to the discoverer to name the planet, not me. Unless I find it, which is unlikely because my telescope is garbage. And yeah, it's good for looking at the moon, but I've had it for a very long time. I've never really gotten a better telescope because it's just financially not viable. I would love to get a big Dobsonian reflecting telescope. Those are really nice, and I've used them before, and they are amazing. But they're also very expensive, so no. Being an adult sucks because you can buy what you want, but not really because you actually have to pay your bills first. Don't grow up, kids. It's not fun. Ooh, Saturn. Saturn's pretty. Saturn and its rings. It's actually recently Cassini did its last close approach of Enceladus. Yes, Enceladus. Sorry, my brain's a little out there. And it was kind of sad because I like Enceladus, but yeah, no, it's done its last. Oh, Tethys. It's on its last orbit, or close approach, anyways, of Enceladus. But I recently saw. Time acceleration must be on. That NASA's opened up their next round of funding for various, their new, it's called their Horizons program. I think New Horizons was a Horizons class mission, but this one has specific targets, including Venus, like a Venus lander, a Saturn atmospheric probe, and a lander on Titan and Enceladus, or at least an Enceladus probe. I don't know exactly what they're going to do. And but I think only 3 or 2 can get the funding, which is sad, but it's also pretty cool because all of the ones fuck, my brain is not working. Sorry, but all of the suggestions are all really cool. I would love to see a Saturn atmospheric probe. We did one on Jupiter, and that was really cool. I'd like to see a better one though. I really, really, really want a Titan lander, another Titan lander, because that has to be done. When the Titan Mare Explorer got shelved, I was very, very, very sad. Which actually, since they've been producing plutonium again for RTGs, they might be able to actually pick that one back up. Hey, Prometheus. I actually would love for them to do that. Because, again, I'm a huge fan of the Moon Titan. It is like a carbon, or like it's an organic chemistry gold mine in the solar system. It's like a good analogy of what Earth may have looked like billions of years ago, and it also shows clue. It also indicates clues on how life may have arisen and how organic chemistry can actually form on planetary bodies without the need for panspermia or whatnot, which is really cool. Actually, on that note, thinking about where life on Earth came from, if I had to place money, I would probably say we were probably seeded accidentally through panspermia from Mars. If I had to guess, anyways, just because Mars cooled faster, had a liquid surface faster, and was habitable sooner than Earth was. So life could have arose on Mars faster than it on Earth, and then there's a lot of material exchange between Earth and Mars. So we could have been seeded by life, or even prebiotic matter from Mars. However, they have found a lot of amino acids in asteroids, so life could have started on Earth from impacts bringing various carbon-rich compounds like amino acids and whatnot onto the surface, and then the atmospheric and water chemistry could have acted as the catalyst to promote biotic life or biotic properties coming from the material. So that's kind of cool. Whereas on Titan, on the other hand, which is around here somewhere, it's the biggest moon. I should be able to see it. Ooh, Hyperion. Titan, on the other hand, its atmosphere, I've talked about it a lot because it's really amazing. It has this interesting characteristic that's found in, well, actually, it's found quite a few places around the Enceladus, around the solar system and in the universe, where it produces complex organic molecules from the gases in the air, the carbon, like the methane and the hydrogen and the nitrogen, and then the ethane and all that stuff. It produces these materials that, when mixed with a fluid like water or other solvent, produce complex organic molecules that could that become amino acids and could potentially form DNA or life. So that's really cool, and Titan does this readily. There's Titan. But these are also found on comets. They're found in gas clouds. They're found on meteors. They're even found on the surface of some of the ice moons. Like they're fairly common compounds actually. So who knows? Life could actually be very, 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 very common. One of the other missions, to get back to that topic, was the Venus one, and I would love that too. One of my favorite space mission programs was the Venera program, obvious by my channel's name, because that was the Soviet Venus probes that the first ones orbited. A few of them were atmospheric probes that didn't last very long, and they actually started getting landers that were actually able to get to the surface, and it was really cool, and I absolutely loved those. I wasn't around for them because that happened a long time ago, and I'm only 22, so, but still, I'm a huge fan of Venus exploration, and I know that Russia has been wanting to do another Venus return mission where they take another lander and drop it on Venus, but they haven't gotten around to that due to funding and priorities, because that's just how space works. It's all about priorities. Which is also why we haven't been back to the moon. People keep asking me if they've been to the moon, how come we've never been back? It's because of priorities. Also because no one's had a rocket capable to get to the moon with people since the 1970s. It's something that really bothers me, but people will seem to think that if you have a rocket, you automatically can go anywhere. But that's not how it works. Rockets are special built, and spacecraft are special built. Like the space shuttle. The space shuttle cannot, or the space shuttle could go into orbit and build a space station, but it could not fly to the moon. Like, the space shuttle did not have enough fuel, its booster did not have enough fuel, it could not go to the moon if it wanted to. It could not land on the moon if it managed to get there. It's like it could not go to the moon. Whereas the Saturn V rocket and the Apollo spacecraft could send people to the moon, but it could not build a modular space station efficiently if it even wanted to. I mean, it could do like Skylab and stuff because they heavily modified it to launch those, but it couldn't it couldn't really be functional as a construction vehicle for the ISS. So it's like you have to special build this hardware to do what you want it to do. If you want to go to the moon, you have to build a specific special rocket and spacecraft to go to the moon. And no one's done that since the 70s. Russia had one, the N-1, but it failed miserably because the first stage kept exploding. And the Saturn V... Actually, the first stage... the Saturn V did have failures, but they were never... serious. A few of the missions during launch, the first stage, engines would cut out or misfire, but they were never like catastrophic to the mission success. So, but yeah, so now that NASA wants to go back to the moon, and Russia wants to go to the moon, and China wants to go to the moon, everyone's working on moon spacecraft again. NASA has their Orion and their SLS booster, which could actually, do that. It's special built to send people to the moon and to take part in a Mars mission. Russia has been working on their new manned spacecraft, which they've recently named. They named it Federacia, or Federacia. Anyway, it's Russian for Federation, which makes sense because their current spacecraft, the Soyuz. Soyuz is Russian for Union, and they named it during the Soviet Union's era. And now, since Russia's a federation, they call it Federacia after the Federation. Some of the other names suggested were Vector, Rodina, and Gagarin. And I really liked Rodina. I love that name for a spacecraft. It means motherland. But no, it didn't win. But they're going to use Vector and Gagarin for future spacecraft, they've said, so that's cool. This star is very interesting. It has a little bit of a halo around it. But yeah, so they're actually working on stuff now to actually go to the moon, because they currently don't... Nobody has a spacecraft that can get to the moon currently. I mean, America could technically just rebuild Saturn V's, but the technology is so out of date now that it no longer applies. So they have to redesign what they're doing. A lot of the technology is actually derivative from the Saturn V. The SLS booster is very much derivative of both the Saturn V and the Space Shuttle program. And Orion, its design anyways, and its overall construction, is pretty much just the same as the Apollo spacecraft, only that it's bigger and it's bigger, safer, more comfortable, and also has more equipment in it. So it's just generally better. But again, they have to test with it, which they have been, and they're actually doing stuff. China wants to land a follow-up lander on the far side of the moon, which is really cool. I wish them luck on that, because no one's landed on anything on the far side of the moon successfully, anyways. So that's cool. At least China has been, their space program has been doing amazing work. They've been just really trooping along and getting stuff done. They're very similar to what America and Russia was during the space race in the 60s and 70s. So at least they're doing something. Good on them. And Russia wants to work more with NASA, and they want to just say, this is quite the star system. Holy hell! I'm gonna go there. So basically, oh wait, this is it looks like a cluster. No, it's a planet. But yeah, they basically want to say, politics be damned, we need to get shit done, which is good. So that's cool. Oh, look at that. Let's get a good overview of this star system. Wow, it has quite the array. Dude, let's go there. Actually, I saw a concept that was really cool. They're thinking in the late 2020s, 2027 or whatever, when the ISS is due to be retired, they're thinking of, instead of building another space station, which they were planning on doing originally, they're thinking of maybe scrapping that space station idea and building an international moon base. So basically, have the ISS, but on the moon. They were calling it the Moon Village. It's funny because I saw NASA, Roscosmos, and JAXA, and ESA talking about it, which is Russia, America, Europe, and Japan. And it's really cool, and they were even talking about building it. They even mentioned China being potentially involved, which would be really, really cool, because China really wants to be a part of the ISS program. Unfortunately, due to outdated policies, NASA isn't allowed to work with the China Space Agency because they're communist, and America still fears the Red Terror. And Japan doesn't want China to join because they have some serious history issues. But throwing that all to the side, if we can work this all out by 2027, we could have a really an expanded international moon base. We have all the space powers instead of just a few of them. Because I really think China would benefit all of us to have China a part of more of the international space community. Like they already do some work with Europe and Russia, but they don't do any work with NASA, which is unfortunate because a lot of the NASA scientists really want to work with China because they have a lot to offer in the space field. Anyways, it's been 25 minutes. I should probably end this. I just wanted to talk about Planet X, and then I babbled on about space stuff. But that's the joy of my channel. I just banter on. So, thank you all for watching. I will be back with more stuff. I may actually have an update video on my aerospace, like IRL aerospace endeavors, which you guys may find interesting. So I'll let you guys know about that later. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and space.